Miss Hilburn was caught cheating on her partner on Valentine's Day, but she insists that doesn't actually matter, and that Mr. Barnes has got to be the father of her baby. Mr. Barnes says that is a complete lie. Here is how it starts out.
Mr. Barnes, you claim that you discovered Miss Hilburn was cheating on you on Valentine's. Your relationship ended, but soon after giving Miss Hilburn another chance, you discovered she was still sleeping with the other man.
Yes, Your Honor.
Wait a minute. Ms. Hilburn was legally married when she had a child for Mr. Barnes? Now, that sounds like a story. How did that even happen? Let us learn what went down with that, because Mr. Barnes cannot seriously say that Ms. Hilburn was cheating on him with her husband, can he?
I met Mr. Barnes through an ex of mine. He was friends with him, and we developed a relationship and started sleeping together, and then we started to have issues, and I met another guy and started to sleep with him behind Mr. Barnes's back.
Phew, that's heavy. She was sleeping with another man and still had the audacity to bring the man back home? Okay, Ms. Hilburn is a really crazy one. But guess what? It is going to get worse, because this story just got started.
Had slept together that night.
That is not true. I told him that I'd slept with the other man.
She had been telling him that a house together, and that's where this other gentleman moved in. We were all living there. I was
Let's slow down at that part. You said all of you were living together. The man she cheated on you with.
No, we were not together at the time.
Yes, she was? Really, Ms. Hilburn? That is nasty. And of course, she was not using protection. How did she even pull that off? Well, it's easy, Ms. Hilburn says. As soon as Mr. Barnes was off to work, I'd jump into the other man's bed. That is literally what she says.
He would go to work. As soon as he left, me and the other guy would have sex.
Wow. Did both guys know you were with the other one?
Not all the time, they didn't.
But some of the time they did?
Yes, and
No, ma'am, Your Honor. We had
Barnes
no idea of each other.
Was...
Yeah, that makes it so much better, Mr. Barnes. And I am not being sarcastic. It would be better if you were not sleeping with her, but at least you use condoms, eh? Why are they even in court today when they literally cannot resist sleeping together? The DNA test results is just going to cause you more heartaches and no clarity, Mr. Barnes. But it gets worse.
Ms. Hilburn, are you also still with the other guy?
This baby was born. I became pregnant again.
Oh, so you're pregnant now?
Yes, 7 months.
You're pregnant right now?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know who this child's father is?
It could be Mr. Barnes or the other guy.
It's the same situation.
The same situation.
Same situation? Ms. Hilburn, really? You know what? She should probably just get into a polyamorous relationship with these guys because she clearly loves sleeping with them. Anyway, back to Mr. Barnes.
It would devastate me. I was there from day one.
And I regret it. I really do.
Ms. Hilburn, there's a part of me that wants to believe you regret it, and yet you find yourself in the exact same situation again.
Yeah, Ms. Hilburn. She saw that life lesson and literally asked the universe for two. That is such a crazy thing to do. Now that Mr. Barnes is there for the baby and her, what's going on with the other guy? Let's find out.
So he just shows up for the sex, not for the responsibility?
Yeah, and he only tries to be the dad to try to get to Mr. Barnes.
To provoke
him.
me.
Oh,
Yes.
so using your baby as a pawn.
Yeah, I wonder why. I wonder why a man you cheated on several times and still continue cheating on would walk away if the child in question isn't his. You just gotta wonder, don't you? Anyway, it gets worse.
You truly want him to be, because this other gentleman, you have no faith in him.
I do not.
Why are you with him then? If you got one guy that truly loves you and wants to step up to the plate, that's what I don't understand about a love triangle, Jerome.
He truly loves me, but he tells me he's in love with his current girlfriend.
Oh, so this isn't a love triangle, this is a square.
Wow. The other guy has a girlfriend, and Mr. Barnes also has a girlfriend, and they are both sleeping with her, and she is currently 7 months pregnant? This is one knot that even the DNA test result may not be able to completely untie. Here are the results.
Mr. Barnes, you are not Saray's father. I know that wasn't the news you wanted.
Oh.
And as much as I believe and would bet my bottom dollar, Ms. Hilburn, that you have orchestrated a lot of this mess.
Mrs. Davis is so far gone that she doesn't even know the name of one of her potential baby fathers. And that is not the only crazy thing about this case, because her child has 4 possible fathers. Here is how that crazy story starts.
When your 2-year-old son, Javion, was born, he had 4 possible fathers, including the defendant. You hope today's results help you find your son's father and heal your broken heart. And Mr. Smith, you argue that Ms. Davis actually told you.
Well, that makes sense. If a woman says you are one of 4 possible fathers to her child, you are probably also going to deny being the real father either. Mr. Smith doesn't think this is his cross to carry. Here is what Ms. Davis thinks of that.
Do 13 different foster homes. I've been to 4 different group homes, and I didn't grow up knowing who my father was until I was 18 years old. And my son's only 2. I mean, it's not his fault that I decided.
It is a sad story because nobody deserves to go through that, and no child deserves a life without their father. But I am not sure that these tears will change Mr. Smith's mind about whether he is the father of this baby.
Are you doubtful that you potentially could be Javion's father?
Because she said I wasn't, Your Honor.
She told you you weren't.
Yes. I asked if I could be the father, and she told me no, Your Honor.
Oh, so he has even more reason to doubt that he is the father of this baby. Anyway, Ms. Davis says that there are 4 potential fathers for her baby. Let's have her walk us through them to see exactly what is happening here.
There are 4 potential fathers, and each of the individual men I actually met on a chat line within days upon each other.
You were intimate with potential father number 1 on the 12th of November.
That would be my ex-boyfriend.
So this is a guy you'd been in a relationship with.
Yes, Your Honor.
For how long?
Maybe a steady year.
So you had sex with him on the 12th and the 13th.
Yes, Your Honor.
Wow. They had a lot of fun. It looks like Mr. Smith is the one who slept with her the most. That looks like 7 days straight. Really? 7 days straight? That is crazy. Now the odds are that the baby is his. Hopefully, the used protection, right?
No, Your Honor. It was just a fling or, a holiday fling,
It was a holiday fling.
Yes, Your Honor.
So when she went home, did you try to stay in touch with her?
No, I think she changed her number on me, Your Honor.
Oh, really?
Yes, Your Honor.
You did?
Yes.
Oh, well, explain. So you get back home and you go back to your ex?
After that week with Mr. Smith.
This is one psycho woman who gets around a lot, and you have got to realize that all of this literally happened within the same month. She was just hopping from bed to bed and doing all sorts, but it gets worse.
Potential father number 4, Your Honor. He was a one-night stand. I don't remember his name.
You don't even remember his name. Do you know where he is?
No, Your Honor.
And now, after having this experience that you voluntarily participated in, you're not feeling too good about yourself.
Well, yeah. Now she has to hope and pray that this man right here is her baby's father, because if the real father turns out to be someone else, things might get really difficult for her. You'd think that Ms. Davis would have no more crazy tales to tell, but you would be wrong.
I actually got number 1 and number 3 both tested, and they both came back negative.
So did him not being his child contribute to the relationship ending?
Yeah, it caused a lot of issues, and we just both called it quits.
And you also had potential father number 3 tested.
Earlier this year, I actually got him tested because that's when I finally got in touch with him.
That is right, ladies and gents. If Mr. Smith isn't the father, then Ms. Davis would have to start hunting for a man whose name she doesn't even know. How can you even let someone sleep with you without knowing their name? But Ms. Davis has something even crazier to say. Let's listen.
I've always had the feeling, honestly, I didn't want Mr. Smith to be my son's father.
Really?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, why?
Well, I mean, to be blunt, he's a mama's boy. He still lives at home with his mama. He don't work. He's very immature. He's like a boy himself.
This is crazy. Why did you sleep with him without protection then if you thought that he was such a mama's boy? Can she even listen to herself? Well, she better hope and pray this mama's boy is her child's father, because if he isn't, things are going to get really bad for her.
Mr. Smith, you are not Javion's father.
I'm like so hurt, Your Honor.
You look crushed.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, I can see that in your eyes. Because even though you consistently said, I doubt it, there's a disappointment that I see in your face.
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Petty says she grew up without a father and does not want the same for her daughter. That is why she's brought 2 men to court to see which one is her baby's father. And it gets crazier. Let's take a listen.
You do not believe you fathered the child.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, waiting outside of the courtroom is the second potential father, Mr. Daniel, the plaintiff's boyfriend, who says he dreamed.
Wow, wait, what? So she has an older child with one of the men involved, and he says that the only way she lets him get his child is if he sleeps with her? Really? This is insane. But if that happened, why does Mr. Ballet doubt that he is the father?
Miss Petty told me she was on birth control. I tried tried to stop messing with her, but every time I stopped messing with her, she'll go ahead and bring up like, well, you can't see your son and all this, you ain't gonna be able to.
Wait, she let another man sign his name on the birth certificate and now says that the baby doesn't belong to that man but another one? Is she actually serious? The good thing is, Ms. Petty has a pretty good excuse according to her. Let's see what that is.
He told me because he was in a relationship, he didn't want to ruin his happy home, that he didn't want nothing to do with my daughter. He told me to keep it on the low, and he raised both of my kids.
No, I didn't say nothing like that.
This is a crazy story, but Mr. Ball is hardly blameless here. He was also sleeping with Ms. Petty without protection. What did he really think would happen? Did he think he would get a TV from dozens and dozens of unprotected sex? Really? How did Ms. Petty even get here?
How did you arrive in this place where you have a child you don't know who the father is?
For the second time.
Did I ask for background singers?
No.
Okay, then I need you to be quiet. Miss Petty?
When I first met Mr. Ball, I fell in love with him. He told me about some stuff he was going through, and he knew what I was going through. And everything was fine, and then he left.
What? This sounds like something from a horror flick. She had girls ganging up on her? The fact that she slept with both men isn't enough reason for doubt if she only slept with one during the conception period. Let's see if that was the case.
So during the window of conception, about how often were you sleeping with each man?
I would have sex with them on the same day.
I was afraid I was going to hear that.
All she was trying to do was break a relationship. She was just trying to break up my relationship.
How am I breaking up his relationship?
Because anytime.
Okay, I didn't call you to say come over and have sex. You called me, I'm coming to get my son, but...
Yeah, Mr. Bale, why don't you take it? The good news is that the truth will come out now. Anyway, there is someone else in this equation. Mr. Steven is outside. Let's have him in and see what he has to say about this case.
You obviously have doubt, but how did that doubt come about?
We were at the hospital, and there was a situation where I looked possibility to look like AJ, which is her son.
That could just be because she's both of their mother.
Yes.
Looks like Mr. Daniel was the present father. That is probably why his name is on the birth certificate and why he gave her his last name. He sounds like a good man, and it is probably better for the kid if he is the father. But that isn't how DNA works. Here is what Ms. Petty thinks.
Caught between two men.
I am feeling like I'm stuck between the two. When me and Mr. Daniel got together, I cut ties off with him. I stopped messing with him. But then I found out he was keeping things from me too.
Last week? Really? That is crazy work. The fact that she is still even sleeping with this dude despite the fact that Mr. Daniel has more than stepped up for her baby is insane. Maybe she actually wants to destroy Mr. Bale's relationship. Maybe that is all that is going on here. Here is what Mr. Daniel thinks.
Oh, both of you all smiling when he said it, so it must be true.
No. And I looked at the...
She remember she said I always come to her asking. No, she'll text me telling something.
They are really smiling, so it must be true. At this point, Mr. Daniel probably hopes that this child isn't his, because this is such a toxic situation to get into. Thankfully, we can now read the DNA results and see if Mr. Daniel will remain tied up in this nonsense or leave. This is a weird case because the actual mother isn't the one ordering a DNA test. It is the potential father's fiancé who is.
To 11-month-old Alea, and whether Mr. Ball or Mr. Daniel is the biological father. Mr. Ball, you are her father. That's a first, Jerome. Absolute silence.
He do not deserve to be the father, honestly.
Oh my God.
He don't.
Sentimental boy.
He hasn't bought diapers since.
Ms. Valdez-Lark says her engagement to her fiancé, Mr. Slater, is on hold. Still, she figures out if he is the father of Ms. Pitt's baby. Here is how that case starts out.
You are that ex and are not only here today to prove paternity, that he is still attempting to have a sexual relationship with you.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Slater, you say there's no way you are Harmony's father.
Yes, Your Honor.
This seems like an open and shut case then. Mr. Slater says he has not slept with Ms. Pitts in years, so her child cannot be his. Well, we've got to take him at his word, right? Unfortunately, Mr. Slater, that is not how paternity court works. People lie, and they lie real good. Let's start with Ms. Valdez-Lark.
Back in September 2012, I received a phone call from their 12-year-old daughter stating that Ms. Pitts would like to speak with me. So once I got the phone to speak with Ms. Pitts, she said, I'm not calling you to be messy. I need to speak with you on a matter. So I'm like, okay, go go ahead, what's the matter?
Wait, what's happening here? It seems Mr. Slater has history, and one child, with Ms. Pitts. Now, that makes things even more complicated, because we know how easy it is for people who have a child together to get back into their baby-making ways. Anyway, it gets crazier.
When you finally got him on the phone, did he accept he was the father? Did he believe at that time he was the father?
No, ma'am. She didn't even get him on the phone. She got me. He wasn't there.
But
And
at the
so
time
She
that he
said
did,
she
when she
called
called
telling me
him,
she
when he
wasn't
came
trying
home,
to.
She has several other kids? Okay, that isn't really our business here. What we are concerned with is if Mr. Slater doubted paternity on that call, because if he did, then he might be saying the truth. But if he didn't,
when I first told him, no ma'am, he didn't say, well, that's not my baby, and he didn't say any of that.
But obviously you have harmony, so you wanted to move forward with the adoption.
Yes, ma'am.
But you didn't.
No, ma'am.
Why did you ultimately not move forward?
hold up. Ms. Pitts herself is married, and she wanted to give her child up for adoption so that her husband wouldn't know she got pregnant for another man while he was in prison. How did she even think that could ever work? Phew. Well, let us hear from Ms. Slater.
Do you believe you're the father?
No.
You don't?
No, Your Honor.
Why?
Because I haven't had sex with her.
So why would she say if you haven't had sex with her at all?
Take care of my child. Why would every relationship I be in?
What? That is a crazy name to call the mother of at least one of your kids. If she was a slut, why'd you even sleep with her and get her pregnant the first time around? Right now, Mr. Slater is sounding really guilty right about now. But it gets crazier.
What happened when you found out Miss Pitts was pregnant?
I told her come and get him and this stuff and get him out. He didn't want to go. I ain't going nowhere with that age. I ain't. You said you'll be a fool to sit there believe anything she said right now. I told her.
Wait, she called off the engagement and then somehow ended up pregnant? How does that even work? Ms. Valdez-Lark here actually went back to sleeping with a man she called off an engagement with? But it gets worse.
And it was only after you decided you were pregnant, you said, all right, I'm gonna stay with him and see if we can work this thing out because I'm pregnant.
Right.
No, Your Honor, that ain't why she pawned the ring. Somebody used to talk to her in the pad had sent a 10 minutes to my phone.
No.
So let's get things right. Ms. Pitts thinks this baby certainly belongs to Mr. Slater, and Ms. Valdez-Lark thinks the baby could also be his. But Mr. Slater says there is no chance in hell that he is the father of this child. Can it get any worse? Yes.
No, ma'am, he's been to my house and seen my child.
She lying, Your Honor, I haven't seen her.
Okay.
I seen a picture on the phone.
Oh my God.
So you've never seen this baby in person?
Robert, you need to stop lying because it don't make no sense.
Ms. Valdez-Lark, do you know whether or not he's seen the baby in person?
I don't.
That's it. Everybody is a liar, but you know what cannot lie? The baby and that DNA test. The baby is here, so Ms. Pitts must have slept with someone, right? The DNA test will answer that question for us, and we have it here.
Mr. Slater, you are her father.
Go on, marry if I go and get it. Go on, marry him. Now play with it. Play with it. He knew that. And that's why he smelled
Now that you found out you have this beautiful little girl, what are you gonna do?
Take care of her.
Ms. Davies says that she's been with Mr. Hunter for 5 years, and he has now started giving in to lies and rumors about her past. She says one of those rumors and lies is that he isn't the father of her child. She is in court today to prove that he is. Here is how it begins.
Ms. Davies, you say that after being with Mr. Hunter for 5 years, he's now given into lies and rumors about your past, scrapped your wedding plans, and is now denying your son Jaden. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Hunter, you say you've never fully accepted that Jaden is your son because Ms. Davies has a questionable past. In fact, you say you believe you even caught her in the act of cheating on you. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, he caught her in the act? That is a crazy accusation to make. But if he is making it, he probably has a reason, right? In any case, Mr. Hunter has called off the wedding plans till he figures out if this child is his. Here is how their relationship began.
Well, Your Honor, we met like 5.5 years ago through a mutual friend. I would say that we were happy when we first got together, but then I started finding text messages, phone calls from other females. So at that point of the relationship, Your Honor, I no longer trusted him at all.
Well, I found messages in her phone too, same thing. So that's why I started doing the things I was doing.
So she was doing the very same thing she is accusing him of doing? But she says she only did that because Mr. Hunter was seeing other women. But Mr. Hunter says he caught her first. The question is this: if someone is cheating on you, why do you cheat back instead of leaving them?
After I seen the text messages, the females calling my phone, then I decided that, okay, two can play that game, and I decided to go out and talk to someone else.
Now, once you did that, what happened?
Well, once I did, I briefly had a relationship with the guy. We were sexually together.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is how you get a paternity doubt. It literally doesn't get easier than that. And you just know that a few times here does not actually mean a few times. It means a lot of times. Let's learn more.
He was denying my son from the gate. He's like, are you sure it's mine? I found messages, I know you were other guys, so are you sure this is my son? I said, yes, I'm sure this is your son.
How were you sure?
She wasn't.
Okay, I couldn't say I was 100% sure at the time, but I wanted Devon to be the father because he has been there in my life for, at this time, we've been together like 2.5 years.
And that makes sense. If he'd heard that she was cheating on him, why would he even think that her child belonged to him? That wouldn't make any sense, right? Anyway, it is about to get crazy here.
They went to a party one time and she hooked up with some guy at the party. That was around the time when the baby was finna be conceived.
You're not denying it. You're just smirking, Miss Davy. What's the story?
I did go to parties, but as far as me hooking up with the guys at a party, that is false, Your Honor.
I didn't hear just one.
Also just testified that when you told him you were pregnant.
Exactly. There is no trust in this relationship at all. She doesn't trust Mr. Hunter, and he doesn't trust her. And that is the entire reason they are in court today. And now Mr. Hunter has a crazy story to tell.
I'm at her house, right? She let me stay over her house. I had been drinking, so I wanted to go lay down, right? I accidentally fall asleep longer than I'm supposed to, so she's thinking I'm gone. She brings another guy and another girl upstairs into the room while I'm in there. So then she makes me leave.
That is true, Your Honor. That's true. And so I did come with the guy and the girl to my house and my room.
What were you bringing the guy and the girl in your room to do?
Your Honor,
we all know what that's finna do.
Oh, so she was not just messing around with one guy when she was in a relationship with Mr. Hunter. She was actually messing around with two guys and one girl, at the very least. No wonder this man has doubt.
Were you certain that this guy was excluded from potential fathers?
I didn't even know the guy. I don't know how long she been messing with the guy or anything, so he could be the father.
This is crazy. Mr. Hunter has mentioned another guy, and it looks like she was really having the time of her life while she was in the same relationship with Mr. Hunter. And now, one last revelation before we check out the DNA test.
He's present in the home, but he does not physically interact with Jaden.
Really?
Yes, Your Honor. We just had a birthday party for Jaden. Devon didn't show up.
Why didn't you show up to the child's birthday party, Mr. Hunter?
Cause she gonna start tripping on me and all kind of stuff. Cause we weren't, like at that time, she was mad at me anyway. So
doesn't matter, you're still supposed to show up to his birthday party.
If I came to the birthday party, she would have been jumping all over me in front of all the guests at the birthday party.
But if this potentially could be your biological child.
It looks like Mr. Hunter and Ms. Davies have a lot to work out in their relationship, and the only way they can actually begin doing this is by learning the truth. Now, let's see what the DNA test results have to tell us.
Mr. Hunter, you are not the father.
I told you.
I'm very sorry.
Don't cry now.
Oh my God.
This is grandma drama, and both grandmas are about to get crazy. First, we have Mr. Lang and his mother, and they have been waiting to see if Mr. Lang is really the biological father of little Chenelle. On the other side, we have Ms. Brown and her mother, and they claim that Mr. Lang is definitely the father. Here is how that episode starts out.
Your little daughter, Chenelle. Now, although you have serious doubt, Mr. Lang, you...
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Now, Ms. Brown, you and your mother are also here today claiming there's absolutely no other possible father for your baby except Mr. Lang.
That is how you know a case is going to be crazy. If they have not bothered to see the child in months, it means they seriously think that the child might not be theirs. Here is how Mr. Lang's mother puts it.
Because I found out that Miss Brown slept with my son's best friend, from the sandbox best friend, and I don't think she know whether it's my son's or Mr. Dixon's.
Oh, okay, this is crazy. Does she really want us to believe that Mr. Lang has slept with 50 to 100 women? Is he like a porn star or something? That has got to be an exaggeration. But hold on, because it gets better.
I don't have no reason to lie for her.
Knock it off.
I don't have no reason to lie for her.
Got a reason you got
Okay,
one
let's
now.
get some more. Let's get some more. I want to understand this. You were together. He was doing his cheating. Were you sleeping with anybody else?
No.
As well?
Not that we know of, Your Honor.
This insane. These grandmas are actually even crazier than their kids. You'd think they were the ones who might have a kid together and not their children. Mr. Lang's mother thinks Ms. Brown is a disgusting cheat, and her mother just isn't taking it. Of course, it gets worse. Here is what Ms. Brown thinks.
I stayed out of the relationship. When they was going back and forth on
my mom was
on
never
Facebook,
in it.
I never got in it because
but she was always in it.
I was hoping that they would work it out. This thing over
So
here,
you were
hoping.
Well, if he begged her to keep the baby, that must mean that he also thinks the baby is his right? Mr. Lang has been silent throughout all of this. If he thinks the baby does not belong to him, now is the best time to speak up.
And what made you start to have doubt?
When Mr. Dixon got in the picture, and he had told me to stop messing with her because the baby she's pregnant with could possibly be his.
Oh, so
Leaving her
she
voicemail
informs
thing.
you that she's having a baby and you're the father and you are happy about it.
Yes.
Then you get a phone call from Mr. Dixon.
Oh, now things are getting interesting. Mr. Lang seems pretty certain that the baby in question belongs to Mr. Dixon, not him. Ms. Brown says that she has never actually slept with this guy. But would Mr. Lang really lie in open court like that? Let us find out more.
And I've never slept with him. Me and him was not even cool. When we even seen each other, we wouldn't say nothing to each other. We just look at each other. When we were cool, it was never like that. It was always a group of friends.
So why would he do that?
Because, like I said before, they were enemies. He was trying to make Mr. Lang mad.
We can't deny that she is making a lot of sense here. If you find out that your kid's baby mother slept with your kid's best friend around the time the baby was conceived, you would also have doubts. And that is exactly what happened here. But Ms. Brown insists she didn't sleep with this dude.
Did or did not sleep with this best friend?
I did not.
Okay.
And I am very sure that this is his baby, and we spoke about it. I haven't slept together with no one else. And exactly that time is around the exact time I got pregnant.
When this grandbaby is born, I'll be able to look at it and tell. That's the only reason she was there, to see for myself. Because once this baby comes out, I'll be able to tell if this is my grandbaby.
Okay.
That's what she said.
Okay, so
And
now,
that's what I
Mr.
want to know, 'cause
Lang,
it's
Mr. Lang.
Wait, what? Mr. Lang's mother only went to the birth of the child because she thinks she would be able to tell if the child is her son's at first glance? Really? How does that even make any sense? Day-old kids look like no one. But again, it gets crazier.
Excuse me, Honor. It's Facebook posts of him talking about, oh, this is my baby.
Right.
Oh, he has pictures that he's posted of them together.
Right, he
oh,
loves
you
her.
can't doubt that this is my baby.
He loves her.
Like he has a lot of pictures
No
saying
doubt.
that. So there was no doubt after the baby was born.
Phew, this is a lot of drama. No one can unpack everything that is wrong with this couple and their mothers, but at least we can get one thing right. If the baby belongs to Mr. Lang or not. Ms. Brown says it definitely does. Let us see if she is actually right.
Mr. Lang, you are not the father.
Are you serious?
Ma'am, we don't have that kind of language in this courtroom.
That's a lie. Oh, that is a lie. I swear that's a lie.
The DNA doesn't lie.
Baby.
Oh.